Afternoon. This is Karen Tully reporting from Republican Women of Baltimore County, and we are honored to have Stephen Moore with us today, who is a senior economist for Freedom Works, a member of the Wall Street Editorial Board, Fox News contributor, as well as a former advisor to Trump for the economy.
Current and current.
Oh, and currently, okay. You know, you're a prolific writer, and I know that you've written many books, but your latest was
GOVZILLA.
That's a clever name, by the way.
I came up with it. Do you like that one?
That's great. That's great.
Because our government is out of control. It's devouring our economy, and it's devouring our businesses and our families and our freedoms.
Well, that's my question.
People have to get this book because people have to understand, Karen, what is happening to our country. You know, our founding fathers set up a system in our country where we'd have a limited government, and that most of the power would be, as our 9th and 10th Amendments say, that people have forgotten about, that all powers not specifically designated to the federal government, you know the rest of this, are with the people and with the states. So,
but wait a minute, let me stop a second.
Government is destroying our economy.
But give the people of America specific examples. Where are you seeing this government, this out of control bureaucracy?
Well, look at the prices of everything. Here in Baltimore, everything's 20% more expensive than when Trump was president.
Why does that relate to out of control?
Well, because
prices.
Here's the thing. What did Biden do when he came into office? He spent more money than any other president in history. He borrowed $6 trillion. Our debt has gone from, up to $34.1 trillion under Biden. He's spending like he's Santa Claus, and bills have to be paid. And so what happened was they had to print all this money to pay for all that spending, right? And then what happens? Inflation. Everything goes up in prices. It's almost like Jimmy Carter. Remember?
Yeah.
You know, I'm old enough to remember Jimmy Carter. No, you were too young to remember Jimmy Carter. But I was. And, every time you go to the grocery store, everything was more expensive. By the way, when I tell people, the official unemployment rate is 3.5%, people don't even believe it.
Well, you know what?
They think everything's more expensive.
And it doesn't include food and gas.
Yeah,
correct?
Sometimes they do the what's called the core inflation that excludes the things that we have to buy. Look, if you look what's happened to food prices, they're up by 25%. If you look at what's happened to gas prices, up 35%. If you look at what's happened with mortgages, up 50%. This is ruining our country.
You know what, Mr. Moore, that I noticed? You can't fool the American people or going to the grocery store and saying all these big statistics can be skewed and everything.
So Biden's running around saying, my programs have been a success. No, they haven't. Do you think they're a success?
No, I noticed it.
We've run up the debt by $6 trillion. We got an out-of-control border. We got an out-of-control budget. We've got a debt that is consuming our country. We've got crime in our cities. Point to anything that's going on.
Let me ask you something else. You mentioned that having a large government also takes away our freedoms. How does that take away our freedoms?
Well, let me give you an example. Every time the government gets bigger, who has to pay for that? You and me and you and you and you and you. It takes money right out of our budgets. And so what's happening, our businesses are losing money because they have to give so much to the government. Taxes have to go up. We get inflation. You got to, now you've got these liberals who want to take away our air conditioner, and they want to take away our gas stoves and our gas cars, and they want to take away SUVs. These people want to rule our lives, and what we want is more freedom, and more freedom means less government.
Like to have gas if we want. Now,
yes.
One of the things I noticed you said, I thought this is very interesting.
Yes.
You said a problem, or for those, it's a problem when those live off the government, or more than those that are supporting the government.
Isn't that scary?
Yes, and
there's too many people who are living off of government. And look, I think we're a rich country. We don't want people to go homeless or hungry, or we want to take care of people who fall through the cracks, and everyone falls on hard times. But now you've got just half the people sitting in the hammock, right? And the people who are working have to pay for all the people who aren't. And my feeling is, if we're going to give benefits to people, you should have to do something in return for those benefits. So I don't know about you. I'm a big believer we should have work requirements for all of these programs. If you're going to get the program and we're going to help you, you have to help yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Does that sound cruel?
I agree.
Yeah, right.
Everybody, I think so. Everybody's getting sick of it.
And that's why Trump.
We
need Trump back in because he got the
I'm
economy
going to get to
roaring,
that.
okay?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
That's why
with
I'm here.
With your book, Trumponomics.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting. People don't realize that in America, they think it's like Norway or the socialist country. 40% of the people don't pay taxes here, and that we're not talking rich. We're talking.
And the top 1% pay about half the taxes. So it's a system that is really, dependent on the rich. And look, I like rich people. I think rich people create great businesses, and we don't want to punish success in this country.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
If somebody comes up with a great idea, whether it's Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or all these amazing people, and they employ thousands and thousands of people. That's what makes America great. And I'm sick and tired of people tearing down people who are successful.
Oh, I know. Now,
right?
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
We have what's happening tonight in New Hampshire for the primary. I know you wrote a book called Trumponomics.
I did.
So, why Trumponomics over Haley-onomics or Bidenomics?
Well, because we were seeing the results. I mean, when Trump was president, let's face it, the economy was booming. Remember, if it had not been for the pandemic, Trump would have won a 40-state re-election landslide. I mean, sometimes I wonder, was this just an accident that happened? Because, and the Democrats changed all the voting rules so they could get more Democratic voters out. And my point is that whether you like Donald Trump or not, look, some people have different, opinions about Trump, his behavior and the things he says.
Sure.
But you've got to love his policies.
Exactly.
You know what I love about his policies? Put America first and make the country great. Not make Germany great, not make Europe great, not make Japan great, not Mexico great. The president has to put American people first.
He made NATO pay more. We weren't paying it.
I love that about him.
Right?
He got better trade deals. We cut taxes, reduced regulation. He built the wall. We got the wall 80% of the way built. Then Biden comes in and says, well, we're not going to have the wall. So now we're getting tens of thousands of these migrants coming in every week. It's overwhelming.
250,000 a month, correct?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And look, I'm very in favor of immigration, but you have to come in the legal way.
Absolutely.
You have to come in with the rules. We don't know if these people are terrorists. We don't know if they're criminals. We don't know if they have diseases. We don't know.
And let me say that.
Drug runners. I mean,
that's not all of them.
Yeah. No, it's not. And I feel sorry for these migrants who come in. Biden's telling come to the border, and it's an inhumane policy we have
Absolutely.
now. And he's not helping these people.
Sexual trafficking, hurting these young kids.
Yeah. So I want a process where we can accept people want to come in and build a better life for themselves. That's what America's about. But it's out of control in our cities, and immigration is now one of the biggest issues for the American voters.
I know, they're tired of it.
Are they coming to Baltimore?
Well, what was the thing I asked somebody recently?
They're in Chicago.
I would
they're in
like
New
to
York,
see.
they're in all these cities.
I'd like to see the statistics, but we can't find them.
Yeah, right.
On where they ship these immigrants, and if it is into swing states.
Yeah, that's a great point, because these Biden, you see what they're doing. I think your viewers need to understand this. Have you ever heard of automatic voter registration?
Yes.
This is where you go in if you get a government benefit, food stamps or something like that. They automatically register you to vote. And you know what? You don't even have to prove that you're a citizen of the country.
Everything's crazy. Yeah. Well, we appreciate what
Biden is going to change this. I mean, Biden is going to be ousted. Trump is going to win this election. He's going to be, you know why? Because he has an optimistic pro-America agenda, and the middle class in this country is fed up with these left-wing policies.
Everything. Yeah. So let's end with your book, GOVZILLA, GOVZILLA, and I will be glad to add that to our notes when this goes out.
By the way, you can read this book in one night. It's a picture book. You can just flip through it. You see the charts. And what I did was I went back to the founding of our country, and I looked at how big government was and what's happened. And it's not just Biden. It's been happening for 100 years. We keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we have some great presidents like Reagan and Trump who tried to bring it down again, but then it goes right back up again. And so now we have the government, as you were just saying, it's 40% of our economy right now. And it's just a big lead weight. We have to take back our freedoms, and that means people have to get involved.
And how can they read more about you?
Well, if people want to get our hotline, do you get our hotline every morning?
No.
All right. So go. What you have to do to get the hotline, it's called the Committee to Unleash Prosperity Hotline. So go to committee to unleashprosperity.com. That's committee to unleashprosperity.com.
I'll put that in the heading.
For the free hotline.
Okay.
Every morning, it'll 5 or 6 items with maybe a chart or a graph explaining what's happening to this country and what's happening to our economy, what's happening to our freedoms, and what's happening with our politics.
Perfect.
Okay.
And your book can be bought on Amazon, correct?
$9.95. You can. Well, I want parents to get it for their kids,
Oh, great
so they can
idea.
see what's. I want it in
Christmas,
schools,
birthday
libraries.
presents.
There you go.
Okay.
Stocking stuffer.
We have an education team. We'll tell
There you
them
go.
that.
Okay,
But thank you
fantastic.
so much.
Thank you so much, Karen.
it's an
Thanks
honor.
for doing what you do.
Oh, I try.
If we could just clone you and have thousands of you, we could win Maryland. I
Oh,
think Trump
that's
could
what I
win
say.
Maryland. I really do.
We have to just keep working, right?
Yeah.
Working
You
and praying.
And your wonderful
praying.
husband, who's our cameraman,
Oh.
has done an amazing job too.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
All right.